baby, the ratchetness.
Hi guys, welcome to Brains and Ratchetness. If you're new here, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're oldie but goodie, thank you for staying tuned to your girl. So I really wanted to touch on this topic, but I wanted to wait until everything died down a little bit so I could give you guys the full gist, the full story with everything intact. So this girl went to Jamaica and said that she was trafficked and she was uncomfortable. And her name is Kalina Collier. And it says, Collier, who was a stewardess at JetBlue, had arrived on the island in January and was scheduled to depart on February 1st, 2021, but tested positive twice for the novel coronavirus and was being quarantined by the hotel for 14 days. In keeping with the internationally accepted COVID-19 protocols. So she tested positive for coronavirus not once but twice. Okay, she had 2 positive coronavirus tests and 1 negative, and the 1 negative that she showed was the one on her live. She didn't say that she also tested positive, but she claimed she was being held under duress. On Saturday, January 30th, Collier did an antigen test that returned a positive result. Another test an hour later was negative. Owing the uncertainty surrounding the 2 tests, the Ministry of Health and Wellness recommended a PCR test on February 2nd, which came back positive. So, Collier did an antigen test on the 30th of January, which was positive. An hour later, she did another test and it came back negative. She had a positive and a negative. They wasn't sure which one she was, so they sent her back to do a PCR test. A PCR test can take anywhere from 3 to 7 days to come back, depending on what your laboratory is doing and how fast they're pushing out these test results. So because they wasn't sure if she was negative or positive, they sent her back to do a PCR COVID test, which was done on February 2nd. And the February 2nd PCR test that she did came back positive. So on the January 30th, she had a positive. On February 2nd, she had a positive PCR test. They told her with the United States new guidelines, she has to be quarantined for 14 days, and in order for her to leave the island, she has to give a negative test result. If you don't have a negative test result, you cannot enter the United States. No airline will take you, all of that. And you need to have a negative test within 1 to 3 days of you boarding your flight. So that is what happened there. I'm gonna go more into details. The Jamaica consulate in New York has been bombarded by an almost 100% increase in calls sparked by the abduction hoax spun by American Air, by JetBlue Air, because it's not American Air, stewardess, which at least one human trafficking organization expressing concern. The revelation was made a day after blowback to Kalina Collier, who earned outrage and wrath by claiming that the Jamaican government and the North Coast Hotel had colluded to hold her hostage. Our calls went from 2,500 per day to between 4,000 and 5,000 per day, the Consulate General in New York, Alison Wilson, told Jamaica Gleaner on Monday evening. Collier was recently employed by JetBlue and was on vacation at the Ocean Coral Springs Hotel, where she tested positive for COVID-19 and was put in isolation. The stewardess took to social media and convinced hundreds of thousands of people worldwide that she was kidnapped and feared she would be the victim of human trafficking. The tables turned on Monday when critics aiming to activate damage control for Jamaica's loss of goodwill. They want Collier fired from her job and they are threatening to boycott JetBlue if it doesn't happen. But the airline cannot be blamed for the actions of a brand new employee, said Wilson. Moreover, JetBlue has been one of Jamaica's best allies. In the meantime, some travel experts say they have had to cancel reservations because of the negative press triggered by the hoax. Due to the story, my large spring break group that I have for March travel to Jamaica is canceling today. Weeks of work down the toilet, lamented an agent in one of the travel group on Monday. JetBlue, in a statement undersigned by Derek Bombrowski, manager of corporate communications, confirmed that the crew member had safely returned to the United States after her quarantine expired. The airline has ordered an urgent investigation into Collier's actions. We have full confidence in Jamaica's health protocols, and it's important everyone follows the rules. We hold each JetBlue crew member to the highest standard when it comes to personal integrity, Dombrowski said. So, this is the line of events. She also claimed that there were cameras in the room watching her, and I have video footage to prove that the cameras that she claimed were in her room were actually light and temperature sensors. Jamaica is very, very good when it comes on to conserving energy. They're big on conserving energy. So that was what she claimed were cameras. Also, she claimed that there were security guards outside her door. And I'm probably guessing the only reason why there were security guards out her door was because she was unruly, she was not following directions, or she probably was trying to get out her room and mingle with other guests at the hotel. If you tested positive, especially with a PCR test, that test is very, very accurate. They're not going to want you breaking the rules and breaking your quarantine. And one thing I must say is that if you're going to the Caribbean island, whether for vacation or is for emergency, and you're from America, England, or Canada, please go with the mindset that we're in a pandemic and there are people that works at these hotels, that they have kids, they have family of their own. There are people that make a living from these hotels, so please be mindful of that. No one want to go to work and catch corona, especially when this is their bread and butter, this is their livelihood. It's super sad that this girl went to Jamaica and created this whole ordeal. And I also blame Jamaicans, because a lot of times when these Americans, I guess she can be classified as Jamaican because her mom is Jamaican, but she is American, come to our island, they actually treat a lot of these people better than their own. They bow down to them, they praise and worship them. And when it comes on to actual returnees, Jamaicans that are returning home, they don't get the same treatment. And I know that for a fact. I am Jamaican, I go back home. So Americans, British, Canadians get treated way better than Jamaicans returning home. They get treated way better than their own. So I understand why she felt like she should get exceptions, or she should be treated differently, or she should be treated better. Honestly, I was really pissed that she came to Jamaica and misused our resources. If you've been following my channel for a long time, I've been doing commentary for a long time, and when the whole pandemic started, I made multiple videos asking Jamaican government to actually use the hotels in Jamaica for people that tested positive, or people that wanted to go back home, or people that wanted to vacation but tested positive for corona. Use the hotels, because a lot of them are getting tax-free. They're not paying taxes, so it's a pandemic. It's only right that they use the necessary resources that they have for quarantine measures. And I made multiple videos about that, and they actually finally agreed to it. Another thing that I made videos about was the poor food, and she was having 5-star meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and she wasn't paying for any of it for 14 days. The hotel also gave her mom a cut in price for staying there. So the fact that she expected more, or she felt like she was in danger, or she was being sex trafficked, is beyond me. Because I know for a fact that a lot of these hotels, the workers are Jamaican, so they know that these customers, they're always right. That's their motto, and they do everything in their power not to have any issues with them, not to intervene with their space and stuff. So the first time I heard this story, and I'm going to tell you, the first thing I said under the video that I saw it on was that her story had a whole bunch of holes, and I was actually very concerned. I actually called the Ocean Blue Hotel's number, trying to get in contact with somebody to see if I could talk to her, to see if I could get a statement from them. I actually went above and beyond trying to figure out what the hell was going on, because somebody actually brought this to my attention weeks and weeks ago. After that, she was actually fired. After JetBlue did their investigation, they fired her, and I actually agree with this, because I feel like when you go to other people's country, especially poorer countries or third world countries, you need to make sure you're on your best behavior. You should, like, this not only damage our industry, but also damages how Jamaica look. So you need to be held accountable. And it says, after an investigation, the crew member in the question is no longer with JetBlue, said JetBlue in a statement on Tuesday. JetBlue first announced yesterday that it had launched an investigation into Collier's actions. Earlier today, Derek Dombrowski, the manager of corporate communications, in a statement on behalf of the airline, apologized to the people of Jamaica and the government. And it says, we deeply apologize to the people of Jamaica and the Jamaican government for the concern and frustration this incident has caused. Meanwhile, the tourism minister, Ed Bartlett, also welcomed an apology from Chief Executive Officer of JetBlue Airways, Robin Hayes, who issued a personal apology to Jamaican government and the people of Jamaica earlier today via telephone call. So she has officially been fired from her job, and I feel like that is definitely warranted. If you go to people's country and do some craziness like this, you need to be held accountable. And from the minute I saw the video, I know something was off. I'm not gonna say that she didn't feel like she was in danger. I'm not gonna say she didn't feel like she didn't have COVID or whatever. But you tested positive twice. is you need to put on your big girl panties now and deal with the repercussions of you testing positive for COVID twice. And one was an antigen test and one was a PCR test, and PCR tests are notoriously accurate for COVID testing. So this right here is what she needed. A lot of people were calling for her to get banned from Jamaica, and I feel like that is also necessary. Anybody with the collier name we got Jamaica now is going to get the side eye, okay? Anybody with a last name, they want you put in your information and you land at Jamaica airport with a normal money or Sanctions International, you're going to be getting the side eye because of what this girl did. And if you're related to her, you actually need to embed some real Jamaican home training in her, because obviously she don't have any. And when her mom was leaving, her mom don't look like she had any anyways. So she needs some home training, maybe not from her mother but from somebody else, because baby, the ratchetness crazy. But I'm glad she's home safe. I'm glad she's okay, because I was actually really concerned. I went out my way to call the Coral Springs Hotel. I must say though, the hotel that she was staying at was beautiful. Her view, beautiful. Her room, amazing. So the fact that she had problems with the hotel, I'm sorry, I don't believe it. But the hotel also came out and said that they, let's see, yesterday's news emerged that Collier was no longer a JetBlue employee. Sabrina Del Pasque, a senior executive at Ocean Coral Spring, which the first H10 hotels established in Jamaica, told Jamaica Observer that the discussions were ongoing as to the route to be taken by the entity regarding Collier's allegation. And they said, at this time, we are unable to give a final answer. We have not come to a final decision as it relates to this matter. Our lawyers are currently dealing with the matter, and we have had several discussions surrounding the matter. We are leaving it in the hands of our lawyers, Del Pascal said. And that's what they say. They're leaving it in the hands of their lawyers, whether they're going to sue her for defamation or whatever the case may be. I'm sure they have the money to do it, and if they want to, I definitely think that she needs to be held accountable in some way, shape or form. I understand she lost her job, but she needs to pay the price. I feel like she needs to pay the consequence, because there's a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot of black women that is actually really trafficked, that is actually really out here that needs help, and she used social media to do this foolishness right here. I'm not saying that she didn't feel like she was in danger or didn't feel safe, but you put yourself in this situation, so you need to handle the consequences that comes with testing positive or going on vacation in a damn pandemic. So comment what your thoughts are in the comment section. Do you think that the hotel needs to actually sue her for defamation of their hotel, spread, being mischievous? Okay, what do you think about that? I also think that if this was a Jamaican returnee, well, somebody that was a Jamaican that lived overseas and came back to Jamaica that pulled the stunt, they definitely would have been charged. So this is crazy that she left Jamaica and didn't get charged for anything. I feel like she definitely should have been charged with something. Because if this was a Jamaican that came back home that pulled a stunt like this, they would definitely have been charged. And if this was a Jamaican in Canada, US or England that pulled a stunt like this, they would definitely have been charged. But a lot of I saw that the DDP, Paula Llewellyn, said that they can't, with the current laws that they stand, they can't actually charge her with anything. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on her whole social media hoax that went down with her. Do you think JetBlue firing her is warranted, or do you think it went a bit too far? Do you think that more actions need to be taken against her? What are your thoughts? Do you think that she needs to be banned from Jamaica? Edward Bartlett came and there won't be any lifetime ban for her. So what are your thoughts on that? Comment in the comment section, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Deuces.